So in today's episode, I'm going to show you exactly how you can propagate your own pineapple plant from a store-bought pineapple. Now, before we get started, guys, you need to understand one thing, and that is, when is the best time to propagate a pineapple plant? Now, pineapple plants grow when the night temperatures are hot. The hotter the night temperatures, the faster they are going to grow, either on top or on the bottom. So the best time to actually propagate them is usually, for me, during the summertime, when my night temperatures are about at least 65 degrees and higher. The hotter, the faster they grow. The cooler, the slower they grow. So keep that in mind when propagating your pineapple plant. And if you've been having issues propagating it or been failing at it, it's most times, I would say 98% of the time, due to temperatures rather than what you did. All right, guys, the first few things you are going to need is a pineapple plant. Now, there is something in particular that you got to pay attention when actually selecting your pineapple. And look at the middle. That is the core, guys. Some companies, when they do sell the pineapples, they take the core out. I believe that prolongs the life of the pineapple and how fast it will spoil. And that's the main reason why they take it out. Other companies, they don't really care and they usually leave it in. You want to make sure you have the core. What's the core? Well, it's usually this right here. That is the core. The picture that I'm posting right now on the screen shows a pineapple without the core. And what's the difference? Well, usually your pineapple, if it doesn't have a core, most times you are going to fail. So if you want to succeed, make sure you select the right pineapple to start with. Now, the next thing you're gonna need, guys, you need a pineapple that is fresh. You don't want a pineapple where all the leaves are brown. This one's getting to that point, so this one's a little late. So the more brown browning your leaves have, the chances of being successful drop drastically. Now this one is as bad as it gets. If it gets any worse than this, I usually do not do it because it's just waste of time. In my experience, if the leaves are green and nice and they don't have any browning on them, then the chances of you being successful are literally almost 100% as long as you have the right temperatures. But the more browning you get, remember, your chances of being successful are gonna go down drastically. When you first buy your pineapple, guys, they don't last that long, especially if you keep them indoors. They can go from looking amazing to nasty, and they spoil within a week. So remember, as soon as you select your pineapple, do not delay and do it right away. If you're not gonna do it right away, the minimum you can do is cut the top off, and that will slow down the spoiling of your pineapple top and give you a few more days. So at least cut the top off. Now, the second thing you're gonna need, guys, it's a potting mix. What kind of potting mix you're gonna need? Well, that is up to you. If you want to learn more about potting mixes, I have a whole video where I explain in details what potting mix we use here at the nursery. Now, this is pine bark, peat moss, and perlite. It drains the water within 30 seconds. What that means is I can fill up this container right here with potting mix, and then I can fill it up with water all the way to the top, and within 30 seconds the water is completely gone through the middle of the potting mix, not through the sides. You want a potting mix that drains the water quickly. Now let's get to work, guys. Alright, guys, so the method that we're using to propagate this pineapple is technically a cutting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the top off. The main problem people have when cutting it off is they panic and they do not know where to cut it off. You can use a knife or you can simply snap it off. How do you do this? Well, grab the pineapple like this and then twist and it will come right off. Where it breaks is not really that important, as long as it breaks clean, at least, like this one right here. Now, the next thing you're gonna need is you wanna trim off the lower leaves, just like this. I use my fingers and I just trim everything off. Why? Because this bottom part right here will go underneath or under the potting mix, and those leaves are going to rot. So if your potting mix is too wet and then you have a lot of leaves rotting away in there and cooler temperatures, your pineapple may rot completely. So to prevent that, we want to completely peel everything off on the bottom, just like this. There we go. You're not going to kill your pineapple by trimming the leaves off, so do not worry too much about it. There we go, guys. Now the next thing you're gonna need, like I said, is potting mix. So what you are going to do is, you see this right here, you're gonna put that below the potting mix level, right up to here. If you got a little higher, it's okay. A little lower, it's fine. Do not overthink it, just do it. So you got your potting mix right here. You want to compact it down, make a little hole just like this, and then stick your pineapple just like that. And there you go, guys. It's that easy. So here at the nursery, guys, what I do during the growing season, for me, I start propagating pineapples, I would say late April, all the way through September time. August, September, and then I stop because the night temperatures start dropping them. So what I do, I go to the store and I wait until they are on sale. In my area, they can go as low as about, I think the lowest I've seen is 78 cents. So I buy the whole thing. I buy like 50, 100 pineapples, cut the tops off, potting up just like this. You're gonna notice it's a little flimsy in there. That's normal, just compact it down. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put this in the shade. Outside, guys, you need temperatures. Remember, the hotter your night temperatures, the faster this is going to grow. So usually if you put this in the shade and you wait about 4 to 6 months, this is what you're gonna get. This one right here is about 6 months old and it look just like this when I first started. These are the leftovers we have for the season. Here's another one. As you can see, it's healthy, looking amazing. Now, the main thing you need to understand about pineapples is you gotta treat it as a succulent, guys. This plant right here holds a lot of water. So it will not drink the water from the soil until two things happen. The first one is it actually grows roots into the potting mix, and number two, it depletes some of the water within its foliage. It will not drink the water from the potting mix. So what that means is you need to treat this plant just like you would a cactus or any other succulent. So you only water this when the potting mix it's 100% dry. Do not keep it wet. If you keep this wet, your pineapple is going to rot. Now, you want to keep it in the shade, outside direct sunlight, until it actually grows roots in the potting mix. How can you tell? Well, your pineapple will start growing new leaves from the middle. Once your pineapple looks like this, you know your pineapple is rooted in that container, and you are good to go. Another thing that I forgot to mention is what size container you want to use. You want to use a container that's slightly bigger than the top of your pineapple, just like this one. This one, it's a 1 gallon. A ½ gallon container will also work, or anything that's just a few inches wider and a few inches deep. It's all you need. You don't need a massive container. A bigger container will not make your pineapple grow faster. Now, how do you take care of this pineapple? You put it in the shade, and then you check it every few days. I would say, to be honest, I was watering this pineapple maybe once a week in the summer. And that's all the water you needed. And that's in my area, guys. I live in the desert and it's extremely hot here. If your temperatures are not that hot in the summer, I can guarantee you your pineapple will last a lot longer without water. Your pineapple will not die from lack of water. I can guarantee you that. The only time I've killed pineapples is because 1, I did not have the right temperatures, 2, I kept it too wet. So lack of water is not one of them. So keep it in the shade, give it time to grow. You need heat, and within a few months you will have your own pineapple. Now, this is the propagation part of growing your pineapple. Now let's talk about how you actually grow your pineapple once it's actually a little bigger like this one. Pineapple plants need sun in order to grow. If you keep your pineapple too shaded, for 1, it's gonna grow a lot slower. And number 2, you're probably never gonna see a flower because your plant needs to be fully grown before it will actually flower. So for that to happen, guys, it needs to grow fully and it needs a lot of sun. So do not be afraid of the sun, guys. This pineapple right here will easily take 110 degrees Fahrenheit direct sun in the summer in my area without any issues. I may get a little bit of sunburn, but the sun will not kill my pineapple. The pineapple will actually grow a lot better if you give it sun. Number 2, grow your pineapple like you do a succulent or a cactus. Do not keep it wet. You only water when it's 100% dry. So stick your finger in there, or you can pick it up and see how heavy it is, and once it's actually a lot lighter, then you give it a little bit of water. Now you need to use a well-draining potting mix. Do not use something that holds too much water, or if your pineapple is taking weeks to dry in between watering, that is not good. Your pineapple will probably rot, even if it has roots like this one. And give it time to grow, guys. Pineapple plants are slow growing plants. They take forever to grow. How long will this plant right here take to give me fruit? In my area, if it doesn't take any damage this winter time, I'm estimating about 2 years outside. Now, don't expect amazing looking pineapples unless you live in an area with consistent temperatures, because the pineapple plant will give you fruit based on the ambient temperatures around your area. If they're cooler, your pineapple fruit itself is going to be a lot smaller. If your temperatures are mild, warm, and they're more consistent, your pineapple plants or fruits are actually going to get a lot bigger. But yeah, and that's it, guys. No special fertilizers. Use any slow release fertilizer that you use on any of the other plants every once in a while, and that is all it needs. Alright guys, now let's talk about the main mistakes people make when growing a pineapple plant. Mistake number 1, that is growing your pineapple or propagating it when the night temperatures are cold. If you propagate your pineapple plant indoors, they're gonna take a lot longer to root. If you propagate your pineapple plant during the winter when the night temperatures are cold, they're gonna take a lot longer to root. If you don't give your pineapple plant enough light once it gets older, they're gonna take a lot longer to grow. So remember, heat is very important, and it's not just about day temperatures. You want night temperatures to be hot. When the night temperatures are hot, your day temperatures are always warm. Mistake number 2, guys, that is growing your pineapple plant in water. I'm sure you checked other videos, and a lot of people tell you to stick your plant in a cup of water and then let it sit there with some toothpicks, and then it will grow roots. Yes, it will grow roots, guys, but most people who do the water method, they do it indoors, and usually they do not take into consideration heat. You need heat for your plant to actually root out. So when your plant takes a lot longer to root, what's going to happen, especially if you have it sitting in water, it's going to rot. Commercially, in Hawaii, guys, I've seen this personally. They grow thousands and thousands of pineapples, and they do not put their pineapple plants in water. They literally twist the top off, just like you saw earlier, and stick it in the ground. Done. It's that easy, guys. Do not overcomplicate it. Just use this method, and you will be almost 100% guaranteed that your pineapple plant will grow. Now, mistake number 2, that is watering your pineapple too much. How much water does your pineapple plant need? Well, think of your pineapple as a succulent or a cactus. They need just as much water, which is hardly any. Pineapple plants hold a lot of water within their leaves, and usually they do not drink that water in the potting mix until they deplete some of that water within their foliage. So that's why they can go a long time without water, and that's why you don't need to keep the potting mix wet, because the potting mix on pineapple plants will actually stay wet a lot longer than any other plant, because your pineapple is not actively drinking that water, just like a cactus or a succulent. So make sure you let it dry 100% in between watering. And mistake number 3, that is growing your pineapple plant indoors indefinitely and expecting fruit. Your pineapple plant, actually, as it gets older, it needs sun. And if you do not give it enough sun, your leaves are gonna get a lot bigger, they're gonna look a lot more ornamental, but your fruit's not gonna happen, guys. They need a lot of heat and they need a lot of light. And usually when you don't give them either or, your fruits, if you do get a flower, your fruits are gonna be very tiny, and most times the pineapple fruit's not edible. So if you're having issues with your pineapple plants, giving you a small fruit or just your fruits don't taste good is because your plant did not have enough light or heat. They need both. You cannot just provide one, expect your pineapple to grow amazingly if you're lacking the other. And that's the main problem people growing your pineapple plants indoors are going to experience. If you live in a cooler area, and if you have your pineapple plant indoor, make sure you put a grow light right on top of it, at least 12 hours a day, every single day. And then you also need heat. How much heat? Well, to be honest, you know, you need 70, 80, 90 degrees, but the best. But you know, ideally or realistically, you're not gonna get any higher than 70, 80 degrees indoors. So if you're gonna grow indoors, expect your pineapple plant not to give you 100%. You're probably gonna get about 50, 60%. Then if you are growing it outside where you get a lot more light and a lot more heat. But anyways guys, this is how we grow our pineapple plants here at the nursery. Like I said, we wait until they go on sale locally and we'll go buy all of them, twist the tops off, and then propagate them. We make, you know, 50 to 100 pineapple plants every year, and all we do is stick the tops in the potting mix just like this. Do you need rooting hormone? To be honest, I've done both, yes or no, and I haven't noticed a difference. So now we don't even use that anymore. But I'm doing this in the winter time. So if you still want to propagate your pineapple plant in the winter time, obviously you're gonna have to do it indoors. And you want to keep this warm. So put it on top of the refrigerator, put it in the kitchen, away from any vents. You don't want any hot air hitting your pineapple. And then if you could, ideally get it like a heat mat and then just sit your pineapple right on top of it to warm up the potting mix. It will take a lot longer to root, so watch the potting mix to dry in between watering, and then just keep in mind it will take a lot longer. So it's doable, it's just not ideal. One last thing that I forgot to mention, guys: winter protection. How much cold can your pineapple plant take? Well, here in my area, guys, our coldest temperatures are usually the worst in the high teens. 19 degrees has been the lowest I have ever recorded here at my house. And my pineapple plants were outside underneath my pine trees and they did just fine. The only time your pineapple plant will die at those temperatures is if you keep it too wet and it doesn't dry out for weeks and weeks and weeks. It will rot and die. They can take a lot of cold as long as you keep the frost away and the cold wind from blasting your pineapple. You keep those two away, your pineapple plant will grow just fine in the wintertime. Actually, it will not grow at all in the wintertime. Remember, they need temperatures, so they're just gonna survive until warmer night temperatures. But anyways, guys, what do we do with all our pineapples? Well, what we do, guys, is we peel these off, and then you can freeze them. We just got a freeze dryer, so you can, you know, make little chunks and then freeze dry them, and then for food storage they'll last for years and years. You can give them to your chickens. Horses eat this too, goats love them. So if you have farm animals, plenty of uses for your actual pineapple, so don't waste them. Hopefully this helps you out, guys. If I missed anything, go ahead and comment below, and you know, I will help you out if it's something that I know. And all the information you ever see on my channel, guys, it's actually first-hand experience. Nobody told me this. I did have some knowledge just from watching the water method, and then I tried it in the past too, and I failed miserably. And then once I actually saw in person how these pineapple plants are propagated in the thousands or millions, I'm like, come on, it's not that hard. So I did it, and then literally I never fell, guys. The only time I fell is when I wait too long to cut the top of my pineapple to propagate it, and the leaves start turning too brown, then they usually spoil before they root. So do not wait. Alright guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.